Hello, everybody. Joe Bag Donuts here, and welcome back for another episode of Full Metal Demon Muramasa. Last time we left off, we have at our all the heroes moments, a convalescence of fates, and unfortunately, uh, Ichijo and Kaine had to stay behind to, keep off the writhing masses, the swarm of all those little Kinseigo clones. So, I guess we're just gonna have to fight God all on our own, That's how it is. It's more personal that way. Anyway, still sick. I thought it was over the worst of it, but as it turns out, it just kind of moved from my throat to my ears. So last night, whenever I'd take off my my headphones or put them back on, it would kind of hurt, like the pressure difference of the air gets cupped when you put on your headphones and it kind of goes into your ear canal. Like, that made me go, ugh. And then when I took them off and would stand up, I'd be like, woo. But other than that, my throat, it's not really sore. It's just, I don't know, a little, not even scratchy. It's just deep right now, my voice. So, I don't know what that's about, because it's not like I was coughing or anything. Like, I would have an occasional cough. And when I mean occasional, it'd be like every couple hours, I just go, and that'd be it. Which, I don't know why that's affecting my voice now. Maybe I just slept funny, with my mouth open, catching flies the entire night. And it's just dried out, and for whatever reason, it's messed with my vocal cords. Other than that, yeah, just kind of heavy limbs, I was gonna say I have a headache, but not really. It's just like my head feels heavy, like I got a fucking ball of lead in there instead of my brain, which, there's not much brain there to begin with, so add some extra weight, and it's a real strain on the neck, huh? Just taking my ibuprofen. Anyway, what else is going on? Oh yeah, I was thinking about streaming on YouTube because I put up a poll last week, like, hey, do you guys want me to stream on YouTube or Twitch whenever I do it? And unanimously, I'm at 100% of people said YouTube. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. A bit of bias from the audience, asking on YouTube where they want me to stream. Of course, they're going to say YouTube. Probably just so that way, they don't have to go to Twitch, make an account, worry about getting separate notifications, yada, yada, yada. It makes sense. I have no real bias one way or the other for where I stream. But, I was just going to do a little test, see if the chat log appears on the side of my stream last night. But as it turns out, if you want to stream on YouTube, hold on. Ugh, a little phlegmy. Just ate lunch. I had a chicken gyro. Gyro? Whatever. You know what I mean. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. If you want to stream on YouTube, you click on the stream and it's like, request access to stream. It's like, yes. It's like, all right, cool. Here's the little stream setup. Oh, by the way, you need to wait 24 hours before you actually can stream. So I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I was just playing FF14 last night, just fucking bumming around, doing my Beast Tribe quest, knocking out the fucking Zodiac weapon books because I fucking hate myself. And I'm only at level 63 on my warrior, or 65 or something. Not enough where I can just, there's a thing in FF14 you can do. You can solo run a dungeon, and you can, go into the settings and do. Normally, if you do it, in the normal group finder, it, automatically lowers your, level and your weapon gear. So that way you just literally don't one-shot everything. But if you're running on your own, you can turn those off so you can just one-shot everything at a high enough level. But, I'm not a high enough level to do that, so I just do it the actual way. And, that takes time, bumming around, doing fates, doing fucking guild livies, guild heists and all that. And I figured, I might as well, fucking put the stream up so that way if people want to swing by, they can, So that way I'm not so sad and lonely. But so much for that happening. I might do it tonight. And by tonight, I mean yesterday, for whenever this video is going up. And maybe today for when this video goes up, because it's still my long weekend, and I should be able to do that. But enough of me just killing time here. Let's get on in that. Let me make sure I have my mouse wheel set properly. I do. It's locked, so it goes click, click, click instead of just going woo and fucking scrolling through all the text. Far behind us, the battle has begun. The clash of energies trembles the air, vibrating through my metal skin. I feed power to my engine, no looking back. Fuji. Time to see what I'm facing. I circle high, seeking a vantage point. And there, I behold my enemy. Yep. Still just chilling. No, down on the ground, I guess. Inapt description. These glittering, gnarled pillars do indeed resemble trees, if trees of a somewhat alien vintage. I'm reminded more of a shipyard from the age of sail, a fleet of new-fashioned masts waiting for hulls to seat them. But no matter. Trees or mast, forest or shipyard, these metaphors are merely derived from its shape. After a moment, I begin to realize what it truly is. A factory. A low rumble permeates the air, like a bear growling in the depths of its cave. The rock clusters grind against a distant marble quarry. Before my eyes, the trees, the forest is shifting. Branches grow, forking again and again, reaching out to their neighbors where they meet. Nodules of light flow from tree to tree. They're feeding each other, perhaps passing information. Meanwhile, other branches furl and contract, returning to the hold that spawned them, only to extend once more, an endless cycle. Pistons, pipes, that's what they are. The exposed workings of some great machine. And Seiko's nowhere in sight. Okay, I appreciate that getting a lot quieter, because that was a lot. Kind of like one of those macroorganisms, like certain aspen forests, they're all connected at the root system, and they're like all one singular organisms. There's also like kinds of mushrooms that operate like that, where it'll be like a giant fucking forest and there's mushrooms everywhere, but then you go underground and you chase and you connect their they're not roots because mushrooms aren't plants, but you know what I mean. They're little fucking parts that go into the ground, and they're all connected into one macroorganism. Neat.
Muramasa, どうした?
あれは本当に神なのかもしれない。
Or so unimaginably powerful it's indistinguishable from capital G, or in this case lowercase g God.
私たちの
根人だと思うのか?あれを。
The god of metal, worshipped by Mishi across Yamato.
信じたくなかったけど、ちゃちゃ丸の言ってたことだし。
I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
でもこの目で見てわかるのよ。
It just all naturally clicks into place.
原点、私たちの。
I recall Chachimaru's, no, Wolf's hypothesis. Long before man's ancestors walked upright, a creature of living metal came to Earth from the stars. For millions of years, it lay deep underground, spreading pieces of itself through subterranean waterways. Some of these pieces reached the surface, where they collected in mountain pools and caverns, waiting for a smith to give them life in the form of a tsurugi. If the professor's theory was correct, and tsurugi are indeed the children of this god,
あれのほんの小さな砂の一粒よりも小さな一かけ
yeah, it makes going up against it kind of a bit of a daunting task, huh?
剣の力の根源になる。
それはつまりこういう意味か。すなわち幾千倍、
I guess.
幾万倍の。
If it's even, aware. Unless it has a will, it just being a font of power is, I'm not going to say meaningless, but you know what I mean. If it can't interact with you directly, or even indirectly. It just kind of is there. You know, you just got to go up and chip away at it, and then, you know, it'll die. You know, quote unquote die, if you even consider it living. You know, cease to function, exist, etc., etc.
幾億幾兆いえとても計算なんて無理
You know, if it exhibits agency, however, we're gonna run into a bit of a roadblock.
とにかく剣と同質の力を剣とは比較にもならない規模で保有
計算上
こんな時のために
Sure.
昔の人が残してくれたことわざがあるんだけど
Old people had all sorts of fucked up sayings.
ああ
触らぬ神にたたりなし
I mean, makes sense.
本当にそうだな
I wish I could obey them.
しかし汚染波の発信源はあれなのだろ
皇帝
うあれを破壊せねば汚染波は止められないのだろう
皇帝
選択の余地はない
Yep.
皇帝
ならば行く元よりたたられて困る身でも
Yeah, we
な
don't
い
have time to build like a proper shrine and an altar and start, you know, doing offerings and rituals and all
了
that.
解一つ派手に罰当たりな真似をしましょう
Although, for a supposedly wrathful god, the conscience seems awfully passive. It has done nothing to hinder our approach. Perhaps it doesn't see us. Perhaps it doesn't see anything. If this god is merely a mass of energy, with no ability to recognize or react to the world, then we have nothing to fear. Hey, thanks for going right down my train of thought. It will take time and effort to whittle it down, I'm sure, but as long as we are careful and persistent, the task should present no significant challenge.
まずは全容を確認する村正右手から回れ
了解
Well, that's not good. That voice again. That infernal howling Chachamaru inflicted on us at the castle. Only this time it's stronger. Straight from the source. It's too much. Whoa, 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 you're spinning out bad. Yikes. Reboot.
ミドしっかり
村正
That was a nasty fucking corkscrew you were just in. Something yanks me from the brink of oblivion. The abrupt change brings a new wave of nausea. But as my head clears, I realize that the screaming is distant now.
何をした
音波を拡散させただけよチャチャマルの術と違って指向性が強くなかったから
Oh, it's just broadcasting. You know, it's just radiating that.
多分だけど今のは単なる反応なんじゃない
反応
急に何か嬉しいことがあったら歓声を上げるしいきなり冷たい水をかけられたら
Yeah, he snuck up on it and he yelped.
それと同じで
She's saying it was an unconscious reaction. Alright. But what triggered it then? Our approach? That means it knows we're here. And if it knows we're here, if it can see us. Oh. I try to speak, but my mouth refuses to obey. A quick inspection reveals that my lower jaw has mysteriously come loose, so I return it to its neutral position and make a second attempt.
ラマさん
何
これは個人的な推測に過ぎないのだが
I take a moment to gather my thoughts.
今のビームがもしも直撃していたら
Most likely.
俺の健康に著しい
Unless you're one of those, you know,
悪影響を及ぼした
fucking quack, you know, health enthusiast who thinks like electrocuting yourself is somehow good for you.
及ばずに決まってるでしょあんなの食らったら小指の爪の先っぽなんて残るもんですか
Why is she shouting?
あれは新規の激流
あ
川みたいなものよ飲まれたら最後粉々になってその粉もすりつぶされて跡形もなくなる
こちらの操る神器
I
あるいは時期によって
wishful
防御できる
thinking.
か
焼け石に水滴程度ならね
As I expected, we'll have to evade those beams, assuming more will be coming. Still, that power. Graviton control?
あれは銀星号の技能か
そうね神器を操るのは カカ様の固有能力。
I mean, it's hard to say, considering, all aspects of Shinogi come from that thing. Really, it's its power, but, that's kind of getting into the weeds, huh?
銀星号だということか。
汚染波も出ているんだし、
Real, what
あそ
came
こにい
first,
る
the
のは
chicken or
間
the
違いないと
egg
思う
here?
けれど。でも、さっきの声にカカ様の気配が匂わなかった。あなたはどう？
そうだな。俺も光の声だとは思わなかった。
In fact, I sense no intelligence in the creature at all, or at least none that I can recognize as such. If it is thinking, then it is not as we do, with words. Perhaps its mind is too great for a puny ape to comprehend. Whatever the case, there is nothing human about it.
取り込まれたのかしら。捕食されて、消化されて。
Maybe.
昨日だけ利用されている。
I mean, it would track, even if Ikaru is like real fucking strong and has like an iron will, getting, the perception and thought process of a god might, actually erase, any human semblance that was in there.
仮にそうだとしても、
そうね。
こちらを攻撃対象として認識しているのは間違いないよ
みたい。敵意があるのか、食欲のためなのか、単に鬱陶しがっているだけなのかは知らないけど。
Or if it's just, reacting to stimulus in its proximity. Whatever the case, we can expect those beams to remain a threat for as long as we're engaged. And of course, breaking off isn't an option. Fortunately, they're relatively simple to evade. The god's aim is far too honest. It makes no attempt to predict our evasive maneuvers, and thanks to the visible buildup of energy that predicts every shot, we know exactly when it will fire. I could dodge them in my sleep. Even so, best to stay on my toes. I'm already keeping a conservative, some might say cowardly, distance from the beams, and the wake of their passage is still enough to rattle my skull. I have little doubt that a direct hit would end precisely as Muramasa described. Even a glancing blow would likely spell our doom. The longer this goes on, the greater the chance I slip up. I need to end this fast. A clean hit? Not that there was much chance of missing a target so large. The god howls as my Nodachi severs a dozen branches. It's working. We can hurt it.
ミド、退避して。
I mean, unless the howl is just, resonance of like, sound waves and energy, being transmitted through it like a tuning fork, and you just perceive it as, you're kind of like, oh god, what is it? What is it when you ascribe human qualities to, unhuman things? Anthropomizing? Something like that. You're anthropomizing it and, choosing to interpret the sound it's making as a howl of pain instead of just, you flick a tuning fork and it makes a noise. Is that a howl? No.
今のは何だ。
狙いもつけず、全身から新規の波を放ったのよ。こんなゲームあるのね。範囲を絞らない分、威力
Second
はちっちゃいんだ
second
けど。
phase. You've done enough damage to the boss. It's changing up its attack patterns.
至近距離で浴びたら、あれでも危険かも。
深追いは禁物ということだな。
Hit and run. Get close, deal a blow, and pull back before that gravity pulse smears us across the sky.
しかしどうやらまるで歯が立たない相手というわけでもないらしい。
ええ、根人は確かに私たちの崇める神様だし、その信仰はあれが元いなのかもしれないけど、絶対者でも超越者でもない。蹴って殴って叩き壊せる代物よ。
It bleeds. Not really, but metaphorically it does. Exactly.
村正、一つ試す。運剣に新規を重ねろ。
了解。
Cool.
手応えは十分。
My gravity accelerated slash just now could have cut through 10 armored Musha. What effect did it have on this enemy? God is howling. We've wounded it. A wide swath of crystal forest lies felled, as if ravaged by an army of unscrupulous loggers. If not for Muramasa's protection, its cries would have rendered me senseless.
でも再生してる。
予測の範疇だ。神にあらずとも。
Oh boy!
神のような力の
Guess that means just gotta hit it so hard and so
この程度の
fast,
ことは
there's
やらない方がお
nothing
か
left
し
for it to regenerate.
どうするつもり？
い。一撃で殺しきる。
Yep.
そうしてやれば
It's a
再
DPS
生などで
race.
一枚。単純な理屈だ。
やるわけね。
ああ。
The railgun, our ultimate strike. And this time, I won't be using a simple longsword, but Muramasa's true weapon, the mighty Nodachi. Although this will be my first time attempting it, I know nothing in this world can withstand Muramasa's full power, not even a god.
村正、準備を。
これ
Things getting a little wacky. Everything's shifting. What is this? What? Run. I look behind me to the space I occupied just moments ago. A piece of the mountain is gone, crushed flat by some unimaginable force.
何をされた？
It probably just like decided, okay, this spot in space now has super gravity.
空間そのものを曲げて潰した。
Cool. Impossible. Wait, I've seen this before. When Ginseigo summoned that black hole above Hachiman's shrine, its gravity warped the space around it.
あんなの抵抗しようがない。
Yeah, makes sense you guys wouldn't be too up to date on relativity
重力波の攻撃と同
and,
じ
you
く
know, space
逃げ
time,
に徹するのが唯一の対処法か。
how it works. Of course, there's no way to be sure that running will remain effective against this latest threat, an attack that compresses space itself. How are we going to know if we've truly escaped? Hide? Like behind a rock? No! Fuck it. I'm following the guy. There's no need to save. Powerful though this attack is, I know that its range has a limit. Otherwise, I could not have escaped the first attempt. That means the only sensible course is to flee, as far and as fast as I can.
来ない。な。
距離が遠いと使えないのかしら。
かもしれん。しかし、あれは手強いな。
Yeah, an issue considering we need to get up close to hit it.
うかつに近寄れんぞ。
効果範囲が見えないってのは厄介ね。耳を働かせれば把握できる可能性もあるけど、そんなことやってる暇なんてないでしょうし。あと、もう一つ。
なんだ。
もしかすると、あれ、防御にも使えるんじゃないの？
What do you mean?
攻撃を曲げる。
Oh, yeah.
あるいは、自分自身を空間歪曲で瞬間的に移動させてか。ありえないと言い切るのは無理だな。
I certainly can't discount the possibility, given what we've seen. And if the god is indeed capable of such defensive maneuvers, then the railgun may no longer be decisive. To make matters worse, even one full-power railgun is likely to drain me dry. I can't waste heat probing the enemy's defenses, and I won't get a second chance. I have to assume the worst, that the target will use spatial distortion to neutralize my attack, and come up with a way to land it all the same. But how?
何？
いや、
Okay. Just now. Yeah, we kind of zoomed in a little.
なんだ。
The Kunjin is closer? Oh, we're not zooming in on it. It's like fucking teleporting step by step.
空間歪曲よ。あっちとこっちの間にある空間を。
Or that, yeah, I was about to bring that up. It's scrunching the fabric between us. So that way it's getting closer.
不条理にも程があるぞ。
It's like you have two dots on a handkerchief, one at the left side, one on the right side. You grab the middle and you pinch it, and now they're closer. And all that extra fabric is now, folded up. A foolish question to ask a god. Now, there's only one option. I shunt power to my engines, preparing to
見ればわかる
flee!
一人で
Yep.
肝心さっぱり知的ではないが軽達者だな
What it did just now was likely instinctive. It wanted its prey closer, so it used what means it had to make that happen. Those means just happened to be rather exotic.
とにかくもう動き回るしかない。重力波も空間歪力もこちらに目標を定めて使っているのは確かなんだから。
同意だ
Running is not a solution, but at least it will buy us the time to find one. Now, that will have to do.
ああ、もうまだ。
向こうの力は無尽蔵のようだからな
That means we keep running. We're not moving? Don't tell me they expanded the area of effect. If it could do that, then why...
これ違う。これは人時間が。
Yeah. Time! Shapes appear from out of thin air. Visions of myself, my past, my future? What is this?
時間歪曲。
どうなる
Relativity, don't worry about it.
ごめんなさい、わからない。わからないけど、多分。
Well, that's not good. Lights. A glittering storm surrounds me, like stars against the black of space. They streak past with dizzying speed, appearing from nothing before vanishing once more. Or am I the one in motion here?
村正可能な範囲でいい
I imagine Muramasa feels like a first-year university student called to deliver a lecture to the Royal Academy of Science. After a few moments' silence, she hazards a guess.
今、私たちは時間的に移動させられている。
Yep.
ただ、私たちの意識に混乱が生じていないということは、私たちの内的時間は正常に保たれているということ。この宇宙における私とあなたの時間的座標が通常の規則から逸脱した変異をしている。
It does to me, don't know about him.
正しいのかしら。
I understood about 3/4 of that explanation. The other 25% can wait. I summarize.
要するに俺たちは4次元的に吹っ飛ばされたということなのか
おおむねそうなんだと思う。
とてつもない過去あるいは未来へ放逐されると
That'd be problematic, to say the least. I still have unfinished business in my home time. I need to get back. How?
いえ、それはどうかわからない。
なぜだ
私の認識力が状況を正しく理解できているならだけど、
Oh... Okay?
時間軸上を直線的に移動していない。過去と未来を行ったり来たりしてる。移動の幅もそんなに大きくはなさ
Oh,
そう。
only a few centuries. Alright.
鉄っぽだけど、
I guess in the, grand scheme of the fucking universe, a few centuries really is, like, minuscule, margin of error.
つまり俺たちは今数百年前から数百年後の富士山上空に時間的座標を激しく変動させながら存在している
I'm gonna assume it's, somehow, it kept our position, in place, in conjunction with where we are on Mount Fuji. So that way we don't have to deal with the issue of, the Earth's rotating, the universe is expanding. This coordinate in space is technically a fucking nothingness between planets in, 300 years or 300 years prior, that kind of thing. Suppose that's not quite as bad as I thought. At least we won't wind up on Pangea, in a world ruled by hyper-intelligent cockroaches. But while my prospects of survival are no longer so daunting, that's hardly reason to celebrate. Even 100 years in either direction will present an insurmountable obstacle.
富士山上空以外はその通りよ。
どういう意味だ
Oh,
俺たちが富士山上空にいるとは限らないと。
I thought we were only moving through time.
時間移動が空間移動を伴わないという保証はないし、仮に
Yeah, just what I
私たち
said.
の空間座標が固定されたままだとしても、やっぱり相対的には移動が生じている可能性がある。世界の方が動いたら同じだもの。
なるほど。
I would see what she means. Earth is in constant motion, rotating on its axis, orbiting the sun. Its position in the universe changes over time. Does that mean we could wind up in deep space? Given that I can still breathe, that probably hasn't happened. Yet.
村正、
何？
減速していないか
I watched the light streaming past. If I'm not mistaken, their speed is falling. And as they slow, I begin to see them for what they really are. Not just dots shining into black, but windows, each showing a different scene. Am I seeing time?
そうね。根人が私たちに与えた時間的運動力が少しずつ消耗してゼロに近づいてるのよ。
Sure.
もうすぐ止まる。
俺たちにできるのは祈ることだけか
We're just gonna have to roll the dice, baby. If it will increase our chances of emerging close to our original coordinates, then I'll happily pray to any god. Any god save the Conjun.
これも当てにならない推測なんだけど、多分私たちの状況は
Oh,
それほど
okay,
までに
that's
悲
good.
観したものでもなさそう。
そうか
If there's a way off this precipice, I certainly can't see it.
整理してみましょうか。
Alright.
私たち
Oh,
は
we're breaking out the
本来の
charts.
時間
Shit's
的位置から
fucked.
根人の力で弾き飛ばされた。
Uh-huh. Just went, woo!
私たちに働く外部からの力がそれしかないのなら、延々といつまでも同じ速度で時間軸上を移動し続けるだけよ。
Yeah, just dump you off at the heat death of the universe.
でも事実はそうなっていない。
Yeah, we're fluctuating.
私たちを運ぶ力は徐々に弱まってる。何か別の力
Oh,
に
so it's like a
かけられていて
pendulum.
根人からの時間移動力を
You know,
連載していると考
that
えられる。
energy is, you know, or, you know, I was gonna say plumb bob. I don't know how many of you are familiar with, you know, the fucking construction of plumbing. So I would say like the pendulum of a clock, you know, tick tock, going each way. But you know, if it's got nothing driving it, you know, the clockwork, you know, motor of the clock for just let's say, it's gonna go in each direction a little bit less until it eventually settles back down in the middle, right where it started.
それが私たちを本来の
Mhm.
正しい時間的位置へ引き戻そうとする力なんだと思う。
すると
修正力は私たちを正しい位置へ戻すまで働き続けるはずだから、
Yeah,
根人から新たに力が加えられてきた
or
り
like
し
a
なけ
kid
れば
on a swing. You push them, they go up, they go back, and then eventually they settle
私たちは
back down, no longer.
本来の時間
You
へ
know,
戻れ
the
る。
swing no longer moving. I was gonna say they're no longer
Oh,
moving.
no.
That sounds like they're fucking dead. So, we're like a cannonball launched into the sky. All we have to do is wait for the Earth's gravity to pull us back down.
なら確かに悲観する必要はないな
ええ、この推測が正しい
No,
なら
no,
ね
it makes sense. Let's pray that isn't the case. Our only other hope is to wind up in a future where they've already invented some kind of time
た
machine.
だ、今はあっさり時空間を移動できているけど、このまま移動力が弱まっていくと、最後にはいくつかの時空間に捕まると思う。
Oh, right now you have enough momentum to just clear it. You know, like there's little fucking divots in the ground, and you're a ball rolling, but you have so much momentum that you're just able to skip right over the hole, no problem. But if you start slowing down, you'll just fall into the pocket.
捕まる
一時的に別の時
If you
空
ever
間の
played
住人
golf,
に
you
な
know
る
what
わ
I
け
mean. You know, you're lined up perfectly to fucking sink the ball, but you put a little too much oomph on it, and it just goes right over the hole and onto the other side of the green. And then you're like, fuck. Now it's a 4 putt instead of just like 1. Compared to if you just give it a little tap, you know, just the perfect amount, it just inches up and then dook, right into the hole it's supposed to go into. But in this case, that's bad. We want to clear the hole.
なかなか大事の気がする
Sounds like actual time travel.
何もなければすぐに修正力がその世界の拘束力を上回って何もなければね
Yeah.
何事かがあったら
ええ仮にも住人になるわけだから何かの拍子でその時空に固定されて脱出できなくなる危険性はある
Okay, so as long as you don't do anything, you know, the quote unquote, you know, forces of the universe, you know, they'll be like, oh, you're not supposed to be here, and just fucking boot you out. But if you somehow, you know, interact, it'd be like, oh, now you're part of the equation. So now you're here.
それを
They
避け
lock the door behind you.
何もしないのが一番よ
Yeah.
その世界の事象に一切関わらないでおいて修正力が働くまで待つの
分かった
でもこれも絶対ではないから注意して何もしないで待っていたせいでその世界の事象に絡んでしまうってこともあり得るし
No butterfly affecting things. I assume she's considering what might happen if we emerge in the middle of some major event. On a battlefield, for example. If we just stand around and wind up catching a bullet, that would make us as much a part of the timeline as would killing a soldier. Of course, if that happens, I'll have other things to worry about besides getting back to where we belong.
基本的には何もせずただし
So no,
生き
no
の
being like
気
that
ままには捨てず
Xbox 360 game where it's like a time-traveling FPS. I completely forget the name. I wanted to play it as a kid, but, you know, I had better games to play, and I had a backlog, so I'm like, I'll get around to this eventually. And, you know, fucking damn near 20 years later, still haven't touched it.
それでいいか
More like 15 years later. I'll round it down a little. I'm not that old yet.
多分ね
Probably. Just what I needed here.
ここ
Not Mount Fuji, that's for certain. From the look of it, this is unlikely to be anywhere in Yamato. Stone walls, high windows, a vaulted ceiling. Looks like the interior of a European castle. I can feel the weight of history pressing down upon me. I couldn't be more out of place.
村正いつまで待っていればいい
慌てないですぐよ私たちをこの世界から引っ張り出そうとする力は幸い面倒なことは何もないみたいだしこのまま静かに
Sounds like you landed with a bit of a thunk, though.
誰かそこにいるの
A woman's voice breaks the silence with impeccable timing. Came from the darkness at the end of the hall. The words were foreign, not English either, but Eastern European tongue. Romanian, perhaps? You're able to pick out Romanian? Okay. But even though I couldn't understand the words, deducing their meaning was a simple matter. What else would someone say in this situation? And now footsteps echo loudly against the stone. They're getting closer.
ミドどうする
What do we do? How to avoid becoming entangled in the events of this time? With each footstep, louder than the last, every cell in my body screams that this is a battlefield and the bullets are flying. We flee. Though you said Romania, and that makes me think Sayo and her, her battery, thing, because she's Romanian. That's where Transylvania is. That's where Vlad Dracul and all that stuff went down. So, flee. I turn and flee, driven by primal terror, not of being trapped in this time, but of the thing that inhabits. I was gonna say inhibit, but I'm like, nope, that's not it. Inhabits this castle. I hear a tinkle of laughter against my back. Something's chasing me. Something with many slender limbs. I must look to see what it is. The turn will spell my end. Turn and it will have me. So I run, fleeing the ineffable presence. How much longer must I?
ミド、
来たか。
The world falls away. We emerge in the midst of a storm. Sheets of rain belt against my armor as lightning crackles all around us. I struggle to regain some measure of control amid the howling winds.
今度は暴風の真ん中か。
一応断っておくけど、私が行き先を選んでるわけじゃないからね。
I'm well aware. Meaningless banter, though it serves to distract somewhat from the terror. Even Musha, who rule the skies, are helpless against nature's fury. If there is a will guiding this ridiculous journey, I should sorely like it to dump us somewhere more pleasant. But clearly it does not have our comfort in mind. All we can do is wait and endure and pray for the corrective force to save us. Any second now, I'm sure.
ミド、ね、あれ見て。
下。
I look down. Only then do I realize that we are above the ocean. And there, upon the storm-tossed waves, I see a rectangular shape. A ship? No, a boat. Unlike any I've ever seen. Its lines are sleek, refined. The technology that built it is years, if not decades, ahead of anything I know. The castle was the past. Could this be the future? If so, perhaps I should take heart in this sighting, for the presence of this boat suggests that the Konjin does not destroy the world. Unless, of course, this is an alternate future, one that will never come to pass. Do such things exist? Never mind. Best focus on the problem at hand.
あの船、沈みそうね。
そうだな。今にも。
Advanced though the boat may be, it is no match for the wrath of the storm. Rescuing the crew is out of the question. That would surely constitute a significant impact on the timeline. Their fate belongs to them. I mustn't get involved. But then, given my present position, could one not say I'm already involved? The storm has me in its grip and threatens to dash me from the sky even now. The boat could provide some shelter from the lashing wind and rain, at least long enough for the corrective force to do its job, perhaps. What should I do? As much as I'd love to go down, you know, that's bad, so we'll stay.
船の横腹に何か見えない？
あの文字列か。
What's it say? What's it say?
名前だと思うが。
Ah,
時間か。
みたいね。次はもう少し落ち着いた場所だといいんだけど。
we've run out of words to express our frustration. Once again, the timeline has dropped, or the time stream has dropped us in the middle of a nightmare. Everywhere we look, everything is burning. We appear to be in what was once an open field. Dirt beneath our feet, the sky above our heads. All around us, the trees and grass are ablaze. A wildfire? No, wait. There's something else in the flames.
何よこれ。どこの地獄よ。
ディーテの都だろうか。
Though I'm not politically inclined, the comparison comes swiftly to my lips, such as the horror of the scene before us. People. The field is littered with people, or the twisted, blackened husks of what were people. Only the skeletons identify them as human. Inferno has consumed everything else. I stand there, flames beating against me, feeling guilt for the protection afforded by my armor, and wondering how this tragedy could have come to pass. The simplest explanation, I discarded almost at once. A brush fire gone out of control? It may look like that at first glance, but a moment's skepticism is all it takes to see the flaws in that assumption. The bodies are all centrally located. Why did they all die in this place, as if huddled together, waiting their demise? Why didn't they scatter when the fire started? Makes no sense unless they were put here, forced to stay, unless the fire was made to surround them, unless they were denied an avenue of escape.
この人たち
Oh,
エミシ
わかるのか？
is the skeleture, skeleture? Is that how you say it? I don't know. That different?
なんとなく多分、
あ
みんな私の同族でも少し違う
Oh, they're European Amishi. They're the dwarves. So Amishi, not like the Amishi she knows. Could they be white Amishi then? Judah, the dwarves of the West? Take another look around, now that the possibility has occurred to me. The floor, what's left of it, is not that of Yamato. It resembles what I've seen in photographs of Europe. Europe, white Amishi, brutal massacre. Answer is there at the edge of my brain. Answers can wait. Just out of the corner of my eye, I spied an upright shape through the flames. Someone is still alive.
待ってみろ
なんだ？
There's a moment to
状況を
lose.
忘れないで
Yeah.
ここは私たちの世界じゃないのよこの世界に深く関わったら元の時空間に戻れなくなるそれでもいいの
It's hard to say whether this is just, your bog standard pogrom against, in what our times would be the Jewish people, common fare in past European history. Or if this is like, actually the Holocaust. Now, she's right. I forgot my purpose here, to wait quietly for the corrective force to ferry us away. Normally, amidst a raging inferno would not be the best place to stand idle. Thanks to my armor, however, the flames have little effect. Mustn't impact the timeline. And what greater impact than saving a person fated to die? A gust of wind parts the flames, offering a glimpse of the damned. Porcelain skin, long, tapered ears. I guess was right. White Amishi. And still just a girl, by the looks of her. She does not seem to have noticed me. Her eyes stare blankly at the flames closing in. Her eyes...
俺は
Oh, is she that, Dr. Wolf, Professor Wolf's, little pale girl? Recognition sears my brain. I know this girl. I've seen her before, at Yokohama Base. Wolf introduced me to her. He called her the Forged Bomb. An empty girl with eyes like glass. Why is she here? No, forget that. The mystery can wait. I have a cruel decision to make. To save the girl or leave her to her fate. The truth is I know nothing about her. Is she indeed the same person I saw at Yokohama? The core of a weapon that burns cities to the ground? There's no way to be certain. And that leaves me with only one truth. That if I do nothing, a child will die. Can I abandon her? No, I must. If I rescue the girl and become trapped in this time, nothing will remain to stop the Konjin. How many millions, billions will die in my time? Surely I cannot sacrifice them to save this one girl's life. Why not? One world for one life. Who's to say that the price is too high? Are numbers so important? You have the chance to save a life in imminent mortal danger. Is that not the more noble act? Choose. Man, fuck them kids. Later, bitch. I shake my head to clear it of the madness that nearly took me. This is not my world. I am merely an observer, granted by a singular twist of fate a glimpse into events outside of my time. I have no right to shape their course. My battle, my duty is elsewhere. If I desire to change anything at all, then it is there I must return.
焦らせないでよ
Yeah, you'll cause a bit of a time paradox if whatever you do prevents her from becoming the Forged Bomb.
すまん。どうも熱に当てられたらしい。
I can no longer see the girl through the flames. For the best. No telling what emotion another glimpse might inspire. I focus my attention inward, awaiting the now familiar pull. I've been here long enough, surely. We find ourselves on a sandy beach. It is dark and quiet. The only sound the lapping of the waves against the shore. No roaring flames, no howling wind, no chilling presence from which to flee. Here is only peace.
まだか。しかし、
We're getting closer.
一人
そうね。それに時間はともかくとして、ここはヤマトみたいだし。
She's right. This is Yamato's shoreline, somewhere on the Pacific, if I'm not mistaken. I look up. Ah, yes, the constellations are in their proper place, and the moon. The moon.
どうしたの？
月が
Oh, we're back in the future then, so.
月？
割れている。
は？ちょっと突拍子
Oh
もないこ
no,
と
the
言わない
events
で
of
よ。
fucking Sonic Adventure 2 have happened. Eggman shot the arc laser at
月
the
は日だって
moon!
するけど割れたりなんて。
Indeed. This is no illusion, no matter how hard I try to convince myself that it must be. The moon, Earth's constant companion, lies shattered in countless glittering fragments, like a plate of fine china dropped on the floor. How is this possible? Oh, could we be witnessing the moon's formation? That would mean
ちょ、長い続き。
落ち着け。
I interpret Muramasa before she accidentally summons an eldritch horror.
ここが数万年どころではないか。
No,
数億
judging
年以
by
上
the
昔の地球上という可能性はあるか。
the standard fucking tourist trap beach shacks, I'd say we're, just a little into the future.
大体数百年の枠の中で動いていたはずだし、それはないと思うけど、周りもそんな風には見えないし。
Excellent point. I've read that the Earth and the Moon were born at nearly the same time. If this were truly 4 billion years in the past, the environment would be unrecognizable, surely. Well, the Moon's a little younger than the Earth, if we're going by, our current understanding of how it was formed. I guess when the Earth was still forming, most of the mass that made up the Earth was already there, and then there was like a collision with another, heavenly body that, flung a bunch of shit into orbit, and then that coalesced into the moon. Not the past, then. The future? At some point in the next few hundred years, something happens to shatter the moon? But what could do something like that? War over the first lunar settlement? An invading extraterrestrial force? In our confusion, we failed to notice that we weren't alone. A short distance away, a lone figure is walking down the beach, moving away from us with slow, steady stride. I wanted to make it steps, but it wasn't plural, and that's why it confused me. The woman, though in the darkness and with her back to us, it is difficult to make out any details. Suddenly she stops. Perhaps she senses our presence. Before I can think to react, she wheels and fixes me with her stare. What am I supposed to do? I freeze. For a moment, we look into each other's eyes. Oh, hey. I've never seen her before in my life. Of this I am certain. And yet, though as a whole her aspect is unknown to me, parts of her I find strikingly familiar. In particular, those eyes. Her expression betrays no hint of surprise, even though to her it must seem that I appeared out of thin air. Her gaze is quiet, calm, like the night around us, but at the same time somehow distant, as if she is gazing into the past, or perhaps into the depths of her own heart. She says nothing, and I know not what to say. The moment passes in silence. And then she turns and resumes her march. The path is unbending, straight as a line. I watch until she fades from sight, Never once does she slow her stride or turn to face me again.
Mido.
Yeah, from her perspective, she must have thought, like, oh, this is just some fucking vision my conscience is playing on me or whatever. You know, my burdened mind showing me visions of the past. Weird. Alright, let's keep going.
Oh,
I feel the now familiar pull. Our sojourn in this time is coming to an end.
今の誰？
Don't think too hard about it.
知らない。
本当？
なぜ疑う？
Yeah.
まあいいけど、それより気をつけて。多分これで元に。
Don't know how that all ended up with the moon being fucking shattered, but, you know, so be it. Unless, you know, there was a U.S., you know, idea back in the Cold War to detonate a fuck ton of nukes on the moon to scare the Soviets. And I guess, you know, just like how with the Castle Bravo test, you know, they didn't. Nuclear science is still relatively new, and they didn't know that certain things would happen under certain conditions, and it was just so big it blew up the moon. I emerge in the sky above Mount Fuji. Muramasa was right. This is our time. I look down to see the Konjin hovering below us, one face glowing with a telltale light of a charged gravity beam.
そうか。元の時空間へ戻るということは、すぐさまあの神との
Yeah,
戦
nice
闘
little
が再開
reprieve
され
we
るという
had,
こ
but,
とだった
you
な。
know, time's up.
だから気をつけてって。
No time to reflect on the intricacies of time travel. I throw myself into a roll. The outer edge of the beam passes scant centimeters from my armor.
言ったでしょうに。
ああ。しかし、重力波に空間歪曲。木はそろそろ種切れにならないのか。
種はともかく、球数ならまだまだ尽きないみ
Yeah,
たい
you
よ。
know, if it can just keep doing it, you know, this fight's gonna take a while. I can see that. The god now brings its full arsenal to bear. Beams, waves, fields of crushed space. The energy expenditure must be astronomical. Yet our enemy shows no sign of tiring. Still, things could be worse.
いくつか分かった。あれは同時に2つのことはできない。そして、立て続けに行動することもできない。
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a refractory period. It just can't keep blasting, you know, constantly.
ええ。
Needs to catch its breath, you know. Whew. Have some water, you know. Kind of get up and stretch a little between shots. It can teleport short distances without warning, but its attacks all seem to come with significant downtime.
力の総量は無限に近いほどあっても、それを無制限に扱えるわけではないでしょうね。
もっけの幸いだ。せめてその程度の条件がつかなくては賞賛も立たん。
But so long as we have even one advantage, we can use it to build a plan of attack.
狙いどころは新規の激流を使ってきた直後。
Yep.
ああ。その隙をついて一撃を加え、離脱する。
Easier said than done, of course. A moment too slow, and the Conjure will catch us with a point-blank gravity wave. There's no margin for error, but if we stay sharp and minimize our exposure, there's a chance.
苛立ってる。
攻撃が成果を上げないことに加え、チクチク刺して回られるのが気に食わないか。神が怒りに
Man,
任せ、
mosquitoes are the
さらに
worst.
大規模な攻撃を仕掛けてきた時が。
Hopefully I never have to go anywhere where, you know, there's actually like real fucking mosquitoes and I have to take my anti-malaria medication. You know, the one that makes you go fucking crazy?
大きな攻撃を行えば大きな隙が生じる。
You know, in the military, if you go like, you know, somewhere where there's actually like a threat of malaria, they give you your malaria medication. There's two kinds. There's one that makes you extremely fucking sick, and the other one makes you fucking crazy. So, better hope you don't have a bad reaction to either of those. Like, it's a known thing. Like, if you fucking do something in an altered state of mind because of your malaria medication, and, you know, it goes up, like, if you fucking crash your car on base and, you know, injure some people, and they do an investigation, and it's like, oh, he was fucking crazy because of his malaria medication. You can get off of shit like that. Wild. It's happened before. Not that exact scenario, but I think it was like, I want to say it was like a fucking, like a fragging incident or something. I can't remember. This is all like shit way back in the back of my mind, just like vague echoes of things I'm pretty sure I heard once. If you don't know what fragging is, it's basically where soldiers kill their superior officer because they're like, this guy's gonna get us fucking killed. We need to kill him before he gets us killed. And then they do it. Anyway, moving on. And with luck, that'll give us time for railgun.
けれどこれヘビがいるって分かってる藪をつつくようなものよね。
違いないな。
Oh no, it's like those videos, those live leak videos of people at Indian zoos. And if the tiger ends up ripping my face off, well, mine can be the story young Musha looked to as an example of how not to conduct a probing offensive against an unknown, possibly defying opponent. Indeed, chances of meeting that ignominious fate are a great deal higher than I would like.
せめて己の愚かさを後悔はできるように努力するか。
了解。後悔は生き延びた人だけの贅沢だものね。
That's one way to look at it. Whoa, getting a little timey-wimey. I dodge a beam by the skin of my teeth, then dart close for another quick strike. I can just keep this up.
今の
Is it turning?
ミド待っていけない何か変罠かも
They bending space to, you know, fucking whip the beam around to get you? A trap? From this mindless beast? But... Another beam? Already?
避けてミド
Or is saving some in reserve to hit you with a fucking another one? A little 1-2, bop bop. Now that was the jab, here comes the hook. It's changed.
今までは手加減していた。
違う一発の威力を抑えて連射ができるようにしてきたの
威力を。
I see. Those last two beams were smaller than before. Where did he get the idea?
和田君
Oh yeah, that's an issue. Can't get close enough to strike. And the longer we're on the defensive, the greater the likelihood we take a hit. What we need right now is time to regroup.
了解ダメ後ろに
What? Oh. Just as I swerve to evade a beam, I see space twist in front of me and find myself running headlong into a gravitic distortion. I didn't know which way we would turn. Luck? Or did it predict our movements? Yeah, don't get pancaked. Takes every ounce of maneuverability Muramasa has, but I managed to skirt past the distortion with only minor damage to my right leg armor. Just as I breathe a sigh of relief, the monster fires another beam directly into my path. My wings are overextended. No further maneuvers are possible. Checkmate. Trapped in an empty sky. And now the god's wrath comes to end it all. Sweep me away like a bird in a gale. It's here. Acting on pure instinct, I deflect the oncoming beam with a gravity-charged slash. Works, but rather than congratulate myself, I choose to thank whatever powers granted me their favor. The tiniest deviation from the beam's center line, and it would have gone through me like a bullet through rice paper. Given that I had no time to aim, that I accomplished this feat is nothing short of a miracle.
なんだか新しい宗教を開けそうな気
Now,
分
give it a couple more decades, then cults will really be in vogue in Japan.
後でやれ。
You can make a
い
fuck
くら
ton
で
of
も
money.
応援してやる。どういうことだ。
I don't expect an immediate answer. Muramasa is not all-knowing. Like me, she needs time to process the unfamiliar. Well, you see, it's like magnets, you know? You warp the time space around you with your gravity slash, so that way, you know, the path it was traveling on bent, and you're safe. There's no change in the god, at least none that I can see. And yet, something is different. Until now, its actions have been raw, primal, absent anything resembling intellect. The last sequence of attacks. Reduced power beams, still strong enough to scatter my atoms to the dust, but also a great deal faster to charge. When I attempted to flee their onslaught, it cut me off with a spatial distortion, forcing me to swerve into the path of its final attack, the one that should have killed me. It can't have been a coincidence. It was too polished, too tactical. The more I play it back in my head, the more convinced I am that a human, or human-like intelligence was involved.
なぜ急に変化した？
その疑問、納得のいく回答が一つだけ思いつく。
Yeah, fork it over.
妙に嫌な予感がするな。
神だから。
納得はできるが解決策になっていない。
そうよね。
Sorry to disappoint you, but there's no great mystery here.
今、何か聞こえた？
聞こえた。
Yeah,
という
felt it in your bones.
感じた。
Not a voice. Thoughts being directly into my head. Could they be coming from the Konjin? This god, impeccable though it surely is, seems to have an instinctive understanding of what it lacks. It needed a brain to chase you down, so it found one, in an old fool of a man it consumed some time ago. It breathed new life into my worthless husk, and brought me back from the underworld to be its captain. Okay. I know this voice. Though the words lack sound or image, I cannot deny that their texture is familiar. I met the speaker before, but where? Where? Oh. Makes sense to pick the Amishi. Can't even speak properly. Damn this ridiculous body. Let's change into something more appropriate. And then the god transforms. The crystal forest folds in on itself with the sound of a million dead branches snapping. And from the shining polyhedron at its center, with a roaring like all thunder of heaven, sprouts arms, legs, a torso, and a head.
人間？
いや、
The form it assumes is like a man, but armored, winged, and wielding a mighty blade.
竜形。
Not just any Musha, but one I fought before. I was right. It's him.
中坂右京。
Okay.
ようやく気づきおったか。
Are we really doing a boss rush?
若造め。
Really? A bit of a pull. All right. This guy? You know, the first mini boss we encountered is gonna be God incarnate.
あの大官。
I can hardly begrudge Muramasa her surprise. Not when my own thoughts are a jumble of confusion. Why is he here? What connection does he have to the Konjin? And most of all, how is he alive? We killed him.
おお、良い心地よ。俺は内千代に戻ってきたのだな。お山の神の力を持って。
Okay.
愉快よ。これほど愉快な話もないわ。
The man I slew now towers before me, his laughter shaking the earth, his head touching the clouds. This has to be a dream. But no, I'm wide awake, and the warmth of my bed is a world away.
村正。あり得ることか。
No?
ありえない。死んだ者が生き返るなんて絶対にないことよ。
Yeah, I'm struggling to piece together, you know, what's the through line here? Muramasa takes a moment to collect herself. When she continues, her voice is almost too soft to hear.
でも、疑似的なことなら。
What?
死骸を基礎にしてその生前に近い存在を作り上げること
Oh, so
が
basically recreate the brain and all its synapses and fucking neurons in an exact, replica. So that way there's essentially no difference from, the man before and this, recreation.
それがあれか。
Whatever. Now, that's easier to swallow than the other possibility. But where did the Kanjin acquire Nagasaka's body? Wait, that mountain I buried him under. Didn't legend call it the Kanjin's home?
匂うぞ。一姫が近くにおる。
Ugh,
そうか。俺を迎えに来たか。
still on about this, huh?
であろう。お前は神に嫁ぐと言った女。すなわち、お前をめとるのはこの俺に他ならぬ。
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see this coming.
今こそ。
I'm just gonna pour some more coffee. It's ice cold at this point, but, maybe it'll help my brain? The Titan takes but a single step, and the shockwave tumbles me across the sky. Far below, I see Fuji tremble. Where does he mean to go? Muramasa's cry is a warning. Warning, of course. There's no time for questions. If that thing gets anywhere near a town, the damage will be catastrophic. Gulliver may have refrained from squashing the Lilliputians, but it would have been foolish to expect a similar restraint from this giant. And, most of all, my duty hasn't changed. Whatever its shape or its mind controlling it, that god is still the source of the chaos threatening the world. Interesting note about Gulliver's travels. Most of the places he go are completely fictional, weird, fucking wacky, made-up places. Except for Japan. He just went to Japan. That's part of the story. I suppose from the European mindset, it is, this wacky land shrouded in mystery. At the edge of creation, lies an island where secretive people live in their old ways and yada yada. I can see it, but just an interesting fact if you never actually read the book. I haven't either, but I know I've watched a lot of YouTube videos that is a plot point in the book where he just goes to Japan. Most of all, my duty hasn't changed. Controlling a god is still a source of chaos threatening the world. I can't remember if I read that paragraph or not.
まだいたかハムシ。貴様など別にどうでもよいわ。尻尾を巻いて遠吠えしておれ。
そうしたいのは山々だが、立場上飛んで火に入らねばならぬらしい。
Like I know the threat is no less serious now, but it's kind of taking a little bit of the wind out of his sails. Not gonna lie. That fucking Ukyo is the big bad now. He's really been playing the long game. I strike for his neck. I can hardly expect this golden behemoth to have the same weakness as a real Musha would. It's better than having no target at all. As expected, my strike accomplishes little. If anything, it is even less effective than before. It felt like bashing a boulder with a stick. I thought the prefect's Musha form was just for convenience and show, but it seems that shining armor is indeed functional, and harder than that of any Tsurugi I've faced.
かゆい真似を。
I roll away from his swatting palm. The gale force winds that lash me as it passes speak to the behemoth's titanic mass. This must be how Isun Boshi felt.
貫くよ赤ぞ。
Whoosh!
今日もまた俺の邪魔を
Way over my
する
head.
か。
Gonna assume there's some fucking legend of him fighting giants or something.
一心上の都合により、
相変わらずの言い草もいまいましいわ。よし。相手してくれる
So
ぞ。
will the law of balance trigger if we kill this guy? Like, he's not really human.
考えてみれば。
Like Muramasa, what are the laws of the universe have to say about this? Open the guidebook. What's it say on his character sheet?
遺恨を晴らしてからでも遅くなかろうよ。
So said, the Titan assumes his stance. seething with malice, his blade, a glacier honed to a razor's edge. I feel like the lowest imp of hell facing a Kala, whose wrath cleanses all. To describe the sight as terrifying would be woefully inadequate. Fear rises in my throat with an acid fury, demanding that I flee or be consumed from within. It takes every ounce of fortitude I possess, but I manage to swallow the bile and whisper.
よし、好機だ。
ものすごく努力して
Just get like inside his armor and start like stabbing him.
褒めてあげたいんだけど
You're like the fucking rat in a bucket method, and just like once you're inside his armor, burrow your way into his chest cavity.
今の言葉にうなずかないといけないのね
No, most likely made up execution method. You know, like a lot of the things we know about, like you know, you go to the fair and it's like, oh, here's the fucking the section of the tent where it's all these European torture devices. Most of that shit's just made up. It's not real. It never happened. And one of them is the whole, oh, we got a metal bucket full of rats, and we're gonna heat up the bucket, and we'll put it on your chest, so then the rats, to get away from the hot metal, they'll burrow in through your chest and kill you. That probably never fucking happened. Some guy just thought of that.
いや、別にいい。俺の意図が通じてさえいるなら。
And of course, it was. Even as we trade banter, Muramasa is tuning her functions for a different kind of combat. The situation has changed. Regardless of how it was done, the fact that it has given itself Nagasaka's mind has increased the Konjin's strength tenfold. No longer a beast lashing out in mindless fury, it has become something to rival the mightiest warrior gods of myth. Limitless energy and world-bending power, now guided by an old soldier's cunning and skill. To say that the balance has shifted would be an understatement. Before, I had a clear advantage in technique which allowed me to overcome the Konjin's vastly superior strength. Even after Nagasaka first took control, his unfamiliarity with the god's power and form meant that this advantage, though diminished, remained with me. And now that Nagasaka has regained the form, the weapons to which he is best accustomed, where does the skill advantage lie? With him or with me? Oh, I see you down there, little tiny Muramasa. If the answer is neither, as I believe it to be, then strength alone becomes the deciding factor. And there, a vast gulf still exists between me and this being from the stars, a divide that no amount of wishful thinking can cross. And yet, this is my chance. Because now I'm facing a Musha, a man armed with a sword. And that is a fight I know how to win. Certainly, I'm at a tremendous disadvantage. My enemy's power and reach are many times greater than mine. But that is merely a tactical problem, the kind I've trained all my life to overcome. For every problem, a solution. That is the purpose of the Oshino on Ryu. That is the art of the sword. I don't know how I feel about the Fabergé egg, you know, on the fucking hilt of his sword. I don't know what that is. You know, Japanese swords usually don't have pommels, so that must be his weak point. Let's attack it for massive damage. In my enemy's stance, I read his intent. I see the perfect logic of his formula for victory. For a man driven by such naked passion, in battle this old soldier is strikingly calm. Another man might have let the Konjin's power go to his head. He might have attacked recklessly, without a care or a plan, believing that his divine might would crush me. Nagasaka Yukio is no fool. He holds his blade steady, like a pillar supporting the sky, waiting for the moment of certain victory.
六原新神流活人島の王理
That school and I share a strange bond. Though I've never studied it myself, I faced its disciples on numerous occasions. This has occasioned me to... Occasioned? Yeah, I guess that's word. This has occasioned me to familiarize myself with its teachings. The Titan stance appears flawless. Surely no strike could make it through unanswered. But if I look closer, I can spot a small imperfection. a gap through which a particularly brilliant swordsman might slip and seize victory. This, of course, is a trap. A truly impenetrable defense is a liability. It encourages your opponent to think beyond his teachings, and the solution he discovers might well take you by surprise. Far better that he expend his resources at that time and place. Far better that he expend his resources at a time and place of your choosing. By giving your opponent a chance to live, you lead him to his death. This is the sword that harnesses life. Katsu Ninto. The power Nagasaka has acquired from the god will make this strategy even more effective. His metal flesh can withstand any conceivable attack, and his counterstroke need only brush my armor to deal a mortal blow. He has chosen a plan the words I can't speak. He has chosen a plan that guarantees victory. And in response, the giant's laughter tells me that my intent is clear. In response to my enemy's ruse, I have chosen to play directly into his hands, to take his bait, to swallow that poison whole. I will strike first, answering cunning with brute force. I will plunge into the jaws of hell with all the strength and speed I possess, hoping to seize my foe by the throat before they snap shut around me. This is the sword that plunders, that rends, the sword that takes life. Setsu Ninto. The Titan's contempt is well deserved.
しかし長坂右京
Though your years and experience serve you well, there is one thing you do not see. You believe that I cannot touch you, that death is yours alone to command. You are wrong. That power is mine as well. Heat fills the pit of my stomach, setting my blood aflame. I stroke the blaze hotter, guiding the energy to where it's needed most. My body is an engine, my heart its molten core. Every cell exists for but a single purpose, to fuel one irresistible blow, the ultimate expression of Muramasa's legendary might.
終わりを始める、死を行う、空を表す。
I sense my enemy's sudden alertness like needles in the base of my skull. Ah, yes. Now you see. You see what I'm about to do. So how will you answer, Nagasaka Ukyo? Will you smite me with your godly power before I can unleash my own might? In principle, the attack I'm about to perform is no different from the one called Magetsu. Muramasa will induce magnetic propulsion between sword and sheath. Repulsion, not propulsion. And I will transform that violent energy into a lightning slash. The basic formula remains the same. The difference between this technique and Magetsu is one not of process, but of magnitude. Speed, power, weight, reach. The destructive force of my Nodachi, Kotetsu, can command is 100 times greater than anything of which I was capable before. Force enough to slay even a god. With a mighty roar, the Titan strikes. Here, at the moment of truth, he abandons technique for raw, savage power. Terror seizes my heart. Terror and awe. How must my opponent feel, raised from the dead and thrust into battle, with all the might of a god his to command? I can hardly believe this is real. His thoughts must be tangled indeed. Yet even in a world gone utterly mad, Nagasaka Ukyo remained a warrior to the end.
危うかった
Shameful though it may be, I cannot help but feel relief. If his attack had come but a moment sooner, it would have splattered me across the sky. But a moment is all the time in the world. Now the advantage is mine.
吉野音流合戦霊法陣雷が崩し
Do you really have to do the shonen thing of, saying your attack's name in this moment? I suppose when it's a new attack, I'll allow it. They spent the time animating that with the 3D model, so they get their their fucking shonen battle manga special attack name read out. I'll allow it. The destruction is absolute. Where Kotetsu passes, nothing remains. Only a black, hungry void that howls as it expands, consigning everything it touches to an infinite dark sea. My blade has torn out the Titan's core. Nothing in the world can survive that. Not even a god.
終わりね。
All that's left is to bear witness to the end. The end of the Konjin, god of metal. The end of Captain Nagasaka Ukyo. And the end of... the end. The collapse is reversing?
復元するつもり？
バカな。
二度までも二度までも
Hey man, third time's the charm. You'll get him next time.
貴様などにこの俺が
He's just willing himself back together. What power? What will? To claw his way back from the edge of annihilation. He cannot be allowed to succeed. One more railgun. Surely that'll finish him. The Titan knows this as well. Abandoning restraint, he summons a cyclone of raw, chaotic power, then throws himself upon me with a howl of desperate fury. Oh. The
良き立ち上げ
world?
おかげで寝覚めが至極いい。
Or has, you know, Hikaru taking this time to assume the power of the god for herself. A voice. Just now, I heard a voice.
だが往生際の悪さはいただけぬ。
Yep.
せっかくの武名を自ら怪我してはなるまいぞ。花は桜木人は武士。散りざままでも華々しくあれ。生と死の選択を己に課す命題として自ら問う。されば嘲笑の喚起する。
All right, let's see what new fucking cool design you have this time. Whoa. Or are you just really big?
Hikaru?
答えは用意したか、影明。ここはついに世界の果て。道家の詭弁と悪魔の仮面がお前の影を踏んでいる。
Maybe keep the jester away from my feet. Oh, you're not even really big. That was just a camera shot. Okay. Fuji's majesty is no more. The power unleashed in the struggle with the Konjin has shattered the mountain's mighty peak, freeing the geological forces beneath. Below seethes a molten sea. Above, ash blankets the sky. Everything is the color of old, rotten blood. There is no future here. No light. Nothing but destruction and death. What can exist in this place?
勝者のみ。ただ一人の勝者のみが果てに立つ。
We're really gonna have our big final showdown in the middle of an active volcano? Alright.
そのものをこそ神と呼ぼう。
Really action move this up real
人
fucking
に
Resident
許
Evil
されざ
5.
るを自ら許
We'll
す。
punch a fucking boulder.
超越の権能者と。
You'll fall in the lava and give us a thumbs up like fucking Terminator 2. I knew that she might return. I planned for it. Hikaru, my sister, lost in a dream. I swore to kill her when next we met. That time is now. Now I must.
Hikaru.
うん。
My voice is barely a whisper, and yet she answers me with a nod, a smile, an island of serenity in a sea of molten chaos. And yet I must.
お前なのか。
Yep.
なんだその全問答は。
She chuckles.
いや、わからんではない。何やら吹っ飛ばされかけたり、地底に埋没したり、そこで変なのに出くわしたり、いろいろとあったからな。
心配をかけたか。
I mean, a little, but you
結
know.
局何だったんだか我がことながら未だにさっぱりよくわからんが、光は光る、他の何者でもない。見ての通り健在だ。
そうか。
Your autism is too strong. Not even God can defeat you. No, I didn't come here to talk. I'm here to.
神と言ったな。
ああ、
お前はこの世の神になりたいのか。
神になりたいか。ふむ、それは考えたこともない。
It was just something that you had to do.
だが、ならなくてはならぬと知っている。ならねば光の
It's
望みが
not such a
叶わ
simple
ぬ。
desire, Kageaki dear. Like, do I want chicken or beef for dinner?
これはお前と村正が教えてくれた道。
だがお前はすでに神。
No, this isn't it either. I'm not supposed to be looking for a way out.
見ればわかる。あの神は砕けて散ったが、
I mean, clearly,
力
yeah.
は失われていない。
It's all condensed, you know, into her now.
お前の中にある。
ミド、これのことであろう。
ああ、これか。
なかなか大したものではある。
Cool.
肝臓が10個くらい増えた感じだな。
Ugh. Man, you can fucking drink like a champ now.
それでもう十分だろ。
You can have all the fucking Tylenol in the world you want. You'll process that no problem. Just stay away from orcas. They'll fucking be hounding you now.
この上さらに。
分かりきったことをあえて聞く。そこがお前の不思議なところだ。いや、そも光は未だ神の座に
Yeah,
値
there's
せ
still
ず、
people out there. She needs to, you know, be the only one left in the fucking universe.
気づけば手に入れていたこの謎の力。なるほど、確かに強大だ。
Yeah, it's just a power up.
しかし力さえあれば神たるのか。では恐竜は神か、海将は神か、80センチ重列車砲は神か。
I mean, depending on your view of the world, tsunamis might be gods.
うなずけ
I
ま
fucking wish an 80 centimeter railway cannon was a god. That'd be fucking sick.
力は力に過ぎぬ。
Man, I
Yeah,
fucking wish
I do,
siege
I know.
artillery like that was still, you know, a viable fucking component of war. Now it's just a target for like fucking airstrikes. There's no chance for that shit to survive.
過去幾にもの覇王
fucking
が
rad
神を
shit,
自称した。それは彼らに力があったからか。皆力を持って国々を切り従えたからこそ、王は己に神聖宿るを信じたのだ。臣民もまた。
So until there's no one left to contest you, then, you know, you're not a god.
なら
Still gotta kill everyone. For all this.
光は歴史への敬意のもと、その示す道筋に従おう。いかに大きな武力を持とうが、成果を世に表すまでは決して戦勝すまい。そして過ちの鉄も踏むまい。かつての覇王は皆中途で堕落した。
Why couldn't you have like a normal
世界人
hyperfixation?
類ことごとくを征服する前に満足し、力に
Why do you have to
溺れ
pick this?
故に打倒
Could
さ
have
れ
been
た。
trains, could have been cars, could have been computers, could have been fucking, I don't know, Neopets.
波動
No,
の
you
集
chose
団ま
this.
でを踏破する。港光は30億人類すべてと勝負し屈服させ、その事実をもって神座へ至ろう。
お前はどうしてもその妄念を捨てられないのか。
捨てられぬ。
Yeah.
いかにも妄念、いかにも愚念。 されどこの1年が光の命脈。まずは舞台を整えよう。今光に宿るこのたわけた
I mean,
力。
this is a proper stage. Look at this
天下万民
fucking,
と分かち合うに
this
も
like
十分
fighting
だ。
game, you know, stage right here.
何よ。
光は一心の願いから全人類の廃止を求む。ならば諸人は光の意志に抗い拒絶するための脳を持たなくてはなるまい。
Huh?
でなくては不公正。
Okay.
故に授ける。武の一方、
Oh,
殺
you're
伐
gonna-
争奪の力と心を。
You gonna use your power to fucking spread your evil mind field over the entire world all at once?
今ここに港光が発令した。
From her raised right hand leaps a bolt of golden light, lance piercing the sky's dark heart. The fucking dark heart, kid. And all around the shining wound, the clouds begin to roil. In the blink of an eye, the sky is transformed from a still lake to a wind-tossed sea. Dark, angry masses swirl around a central eye. It reminds me of a hurricane, but in truth.
村正、あれは。
汚染波の塊よ。
Yep.
とてつもない濃度の。あんなのを浴び
Quick,
たらきっと
put on your tinfoil
俺たち
hats.
でも防げない。
Drink your fucking horse dewormer. She can't get you this way. Flush the chips from your system. Waves that can drive even Musha to madness.
しかもそれだけじゃない。
そうともくも、これは武の嵐だ。白銀の雨風を地上に注いで回り、人々に武の力と魂を与え、
Oh.
この光と同等の武人に仕上げる。
Alright, so everyone's getting fucking juiced up.
これで人類は心身ともに完全武装。この中で勝ち抜いてこそ神たる武人。
What is she saying? No. Does she mean to loose that madness everywhere at once? Transform the entire human race into murderous beasts armed with the might of Ginseigo? But what will that do to the world? Will anything survive? Even now I spy not a flicker of doubt in Hikaru. No gap through which a word might slip to turn her from this course. She truly means to end the world. To slaughter every last human being after granting them a piece of divine power. The storm grows, splitting off copies of itself, each boiling with its own vast energy.
ロシア、カン、欧州、中東、新大陸、暗黒大陸、ヤマト。
With each command, a child storm goes howling off across the black sky. The most loyal of servants, the most faithful of generals. They go to do their master's bidding, to impose her will upon the earth.
村正、あれが全世界を汚染するのに。
多分
Well,
1時間とは。
およそ45分だろう。
damn. Her hand lowered, Hikaru turns to face me once more. Her tone is casual, matter of fact. I suppose that she would know.
止める方法は。
Kill me.
元を断つ。
Defeat her. Yeah.
あの嵐は独立してない。発生源とつながったままだから。
The source. Destroy Ginseigo, and the storms will disperse. My duty could not be more pressing, more clear. Not that there was ever truly a question. I must kill Hikaru, right here, right now. There isn't a moment to lose. Waste no more breath seeking answers. Kagiaki. Oh, there's a comma. I thought that was a period. Nope. There's an extra long pause. Every thought is a moment lost. Every word, a breath spent in vain. Time and breath are precious now. Use them. Draw your sword and strike.
何を望む。光る。そこまでのことをなし。
To
何を。
to become a god
よい、
and fuck her dad.
幾度でも答えてやる。お前が問いを重ねるなら、光も同じだけ変わらぬ決意を叫ぼう。
Uh-huh.
父よ、光の望みはただ一つ。我が父を返せ。
With heat enough to fuel a star, Hikaru speaks the dream that made her.
俺をこの世に生み落とした根源を、父の愛を確かめたい。そのために光は母を滅ぼし、世界を滅ぼす。
You're such a petty bitch.
父
You
を
know
奪
that?
い束縛するすべてを滅ぼす。そのために光は神となる。人の道に許されぬ父の奪回を真剣によって成し遂げる。
You done? Okay. This, then, is Hikaru's way. To find a single pearl lost to the sea. Boil away all the water in the oceans of the earth.
なぜと問うか。
Yeah, why?
なぜ核も求めるのかと。
Just because you couldn't have him?
それが奪われているからだ。
You were not her father. She is not your daughter. You must never love her.
俺は覚えている。母が父に告げた強奪の言葉を。
That's not how the human brain works. Like, you
その瞬間を
literally can't remember things like that, but
魂
sure.
にかけて記憶している。だから取り戻さずにはいられない。
In her voice, I hear what this is. Not merely desire, but a primal command. She is missing what she needs to live, it says. The same as if her heart was torn from her chest and flung into the blackest abyss. How could she not dive after it?
父はお前の父は。
鍵明、ここへ参れ。貴様には何の恨みもない。かような真似を命じるのが心苦しくもある。だが今となってはこの愚か者に拾われた運命を嘆いてもらうよりないわ。貴様が事の決着をつけよ。
いないのだ。この世のどこにもお前の父は父たることを捨てた。捨てるよう命じられ
Honorable to a fault.
従った。知っているのだろう。
知っている。だから諦めていた。
Don't speak in the third
表
person.
の港光は
I know you're big on your godhood trip now, but, you know, it's a little early for that.
しかしその陰で俺を育てた。それでも父に愛されたいという希望を、俺という一つの夢を。
There is no sorrow in her voice, only pride. She is a shadow from the depths of Hikaru's subconscious, no more real than the visions one sees before waking, but strong enough to touch the world, strong enough to shatter it.
お前は
人の世に押し隠された父なら、人の世をひっくり返してやれば。
Hikaru laughs, amused by the image. I can only wait in silence for her mirth to subside.
影明よ。
光る。
She speaks my name softly, a gentle, probing gesture. I move quickly to the next question.
ならお前は父親が戻り、
Yeah, can't we just
お
like
前を娘と認めさえすれば
go out for some coffee
So the
and, you know,
months-
kind of have like a family talk? You know, all three of us together?
世界の破壊を思いとどまるか。
その問いも以前に答えたな。光が欲しいのは生贄の肉ではない。
Uh-huh.
真実の心。父は社会と秩序を重んじ、それゆえに光を娘と認めてくださらなかった。だからこそ、現世界を守るためとあらば、光の願いを聞くやもしれぬ。しかし、それではダメなのだ。
Ugh.
真実がない。
So selfish.
形ばかりの偽物に過ぎない。真実を得るには父が尊ぶもの。我が母スバルを、今の人間社会をすべて滅ぼし尽くした上で問うのみ。これでも光を愛してくれるかと。9割が憎しみでも構わない。
He might.
9割
You know, it's hard to say. He seems like a complicated guy.
残りの一部、ほんの少しだけ、ひとかけらだけ
Or not, you know.
肉親の愛情を示して
He
くれる
likes
なら。
likes Kageaki, even though, you know, he's done a bunch of fucked up shit. He was willing to forgive him. You know, he might. Might for you too.
それで俺は満ち足りる。
A soft blush rises to her cheeks, and she breathes a dreaming sigh. How did it come to this? Where was the point of no return? A tangled web of cause and effect, threads twined too deeply to know where one begins or ends. Perhaps there's still a chance for reconciliation. If I find the knots, loosen them gently, unwind the threads one by one, perhaps, in the end, the truth will lie bare. But that would take time. The world has no time, and that leaves me with only one choice. To cut the knots, tear free the threads, break the web while there's still hope of escape. Yep, fucking cut that Gordian knot, baby. It's the only way.
そうか。
影明、
ならば光る。お前に父など与えない。ここで。
Yeah,
死ぬ
fucking put you in your place. A frigid chill drives back the volcano's heat. Not a gust of winter air, but the icy will of a human heart.
それが答えか。分かっていた。そう。
Yeah, he's a bit of a
お前
mommy's
はあく
boy.
までも母上の味方。母こそは俺の敵であった。
And still, you choose her over me.
母の意志に従うなら。兄影明、お前も光の敵。
その通りだ。
倒す。母に従うその生命魂魄。母のものは何もかもこの光が奪う。そして世界を打倒する。
Uh-huh.
すべて終わった後でこの身に宿る力を使い。
Oh yeah, I guess you can do that now.
阻めるものなら阻むがいい。
Once more, the air surges with heat. At last, Minato Hikaru, Kinseigo, has turned her malice on me. This duel will end with a single blow. Of that, there can be no doubt. I know Kinseigo's strength well. She will not need more than one blow to kill me. But the reverse is also true. My opponent is no longer a mountain on two legs, but a Musha of purely average size, targets small enough to split with one stroke. Whoever lands their attack first will win. For tactics, I will approach the situation as I would a ground-based engagement. Although we are both hovering thanks to our control over gravity, that same power means that we might as well be standing on solid ground. And given that we are close enough to hear each other speak, this is where we must do battle. To attempt any change in position would be the same as turning our back to the enemy. Flight is out of the question. When I move, it will be to strike, to unleash an attack that will surely slay my foe. And the same is true for Hikaru. Kinseigo has already assumed her stance. Left hand presented, right pulled back. Enju, a basic unarmed stance of the Oshino on Ryu, though she may appear to have modified it somewhat. The purpose of Enju is simple. Use your left hand to neutralize the enemy's offensive, then deliver a crushing blow with your right. The opponent, however, is unlikely to follow this prescribed course. Instead, she will do as she did at Hachiman Shrine, attack head-on, with no attempt at deception, depending on raw speed to overwhelm my defense. For anyone else, this plan would be foolish in the extreme, not truly a plan at all. But for Kinseigo, able to move at speeds beyond what the human eye can perceive, this approach is far more effective than any clever ruse would be. If she makes it to striking distance, it's over. The precise nature of her strike will not be relevant. Considering Kinseigo's power and skill, I have no hope of withstanding any conceivable attack. If she strikes with intent to kill, which intent she now undoubtedly possesses, then I will surely die. To look upon Hikaru now, one might be forgiven for thinking her part of the landscape. She seems utterly at peace, one with the world. Only her eyes stand out from the background. Two bright crimson flames, hungrily awaiting the moment to destroy me. In answer, I assume the standard Musha Jodan, Nodachi posed above my right shoulder. This seemingly simple stance has, in fact, nearly limitless applications, but all derived from the same foundational intent to cut your enemy down the moment she enters your range. That is the whole of my plan. Yes, it is possible to lay a trap from this stance, but I have already dismissed that option outright. Against this opponent, if I'm lucky, the attempt will prove nearly futile. Where is it? Far more likely that it will be my undoing. Time and energy are precious here. When the moment comes, there will be no room for tricks. I must focus all my strength and skill into the killing blow. Strike the moment she enters my range. That is my only hope. Fortunately, I have one advantage. Seigo is unarmed, while my weapon is the mighty Nodachi. My range greatly outstrips hers. Even if she moves first, I will have space in which to react. But will it be enough? It all comes down to this. The window will be open for but a fraction of an instant. Will I be able to exploit it? Every time I have attempted this feat before, it has ended in failure. Seigo's breathing is steady and slow, so soft that one might think her asleep. Because, of course, that is what she is. Seigo is a dream, and as a dream, she possesses clarity of mind to rival the wisest sages of myth. The natural Muso, the absence of thought, which is to say the absence of any delay between intent and action. Do I have it in me to match her? To seize a moment of vulnerability that can hardly be said to exist? Perhaps, but only if I meet 3 conditions. 1. Remember that my enemy is Genseigo. 2. Forget that my enemy is Hikaru. 3. Abandon self. That night at Kenjoji Temple, I performed an impossible feat. Unarmored, with naught but a common blade, I cut through Tsurugi's steel. At the time, I was under Genseigo's influence, my heart twisted to serve a single purpose. On Muga, the absence of self, indeed its polar opposite, but alike in one aspect. Purity of will, of purpose. That is what makes the impossible possible. I know. I accomplished this feat once before, many years ago. Then too, my mind was possessed singular focus. If I reach that state of mind once again, if I purge my soul of everything extraneous to my purpose, then I can transcend human limits. I can slay Genseigo. Remember how it felt. The clarity, the mind bent to perfect straightness. Remember what you've learned, the principles of Muga. Forsake desire, kill self.
さよう。無双が外の世界を無とする理念であれば、無我は内の己を無とする理念。これもまた善に通ずる方であろう。無我に至らば指示も私欲もすでにない。
Yeah, thanks, Usadoshin.
あるのは世の大義のみ。その敵を討てと欲する世の意志のみ。お主の意志が消え去ろうとも、世の意志がお主を突き動かし敵を討つであろう。
Yeah, become the vessel for like a spirit bomb. Brother of Minato Hikaru. It is he whose heart must die. Kill him. Kill her. When the moment comes, seize it. Strike and slay your foe. But also consider the enemy's strength. If she evades your attack, what then? That will be your second chance. Seize it. Discern the timing and angle of her flight. Know them even as she herself does, and cut her down with your return stroke. Tsubame Gaishi. Oh, you're doing fucking... Oh god, what is it? Sparrow swallow, swallow sparrow, sparrow cutting technique? Attack, 3 places at once in a single breath.
一つ問わせろ。死せる者の魂はどこへ行くか。
死んだ者に行き先などない。
The chemicals in your brain stop firing, and that's it.
だが、
あるとせば、
地の底へ落ちて眠るのだろう。
そうか。俺は天へ昇って輝くと思う。
All right, so he's a return to the Earth guy, and you're a ascend to the heavens kind of girl. You're an astrology bitch. I have her, with sight bordering on prescience. Sure, with sight bordering on prescience. At last, I have captured the silver lightning. My sword is already in motion, descending with titanic force to drive my foe into the molten ground. Victory. My sword plows through empty air. No touch of blood marks its pristine steel. Seigo, what skill, what terrible might. My strike was perfect, and she dodged it. Still, my body knows. It knows that my enemy vaulted my blade. It knows where she is at this very moment. Still a breath outside her range, yet close enough for me to strike. And that means she hasn't escaped. Silver is still within my grasp. I reverse my blade. Now the return stroke. Upward. To pluck my foe from the sky. And Kinseigo gets there first. The time it takes for a white-hot needle to pierce a single layer of skin. Our eyes meet. We are close enough to kiss. That's your sister. Just say, like, feel each other's breath on your skin or something. Even though that's real intimate too, it's like it's not kissing your sister. Too close. Now my Nodachi's a liability. I cannot kill at this range, while my enemy need only extend her fist to deliver fatal blow. Well, you got your wakizashi, yeah, your hand's already on it. My perception was flawless. My timing, unimpeachable. The fastest strike I've ever unleashed. And even then, it wasn't enough. The silver lightning was faster still. 1 nanosecond, and I would have had her. 1 nanosecond was all it took for her to close the range. My options are exhausted. It's over. I've failed. But if that is true, then what am I doing? My right hand, what is it doing? And did it leave the hilt of my sword? It is reaching for something. Reaching towards my waist. Reaching for my wakizashi.
そうか。
I know what this is. Oshino on Ryu, Hyoku. On completing the downward stroke, shift your right hand to the hilt of your short sword and perform a draw and slash. It is a technique I have practiced many times before, designed to punish the insolent intruder who thinks herself safely inside your defenses. The perfect technique. But how? This wasn't part of the plan. How did I know what to do?
勝利の条件。敵が銀星号であることを忘れない。
Of course, I remembered. I remembered who and what my enemy is. Seigo, the Silver Star, for whom no plan is foolproof, no trap inescapable. My conscious mind thought Tsubame Gaishi the answer. But my bones remembered. My cells remembered. They remembered the shame of my many defeats. And determined that this time, things would be different. My mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. The willed mitochondria. Parasite Eve. They planned for this. They planned for the worst. For worse than the worst. For worse than my feeble brain could imagine. And chose the one technique that would see me through. And now, time is on my side. Before Kinseigo completes her landing, I draw my sword and strike. What happened? My brain struggles to catch up. Just now. I struck first. I saw my blade make contact. And yet, no sensation of impact? You didn't forget that she's your sister. How? Did I miss? Or did you just cut so cleanly through? No. Possible. But then how is my enemy whole? Muramasa shouts something. Not words. Words would be too slow. But a burst of compressed information contains the answer. Folded space. Folded space. The Kanjin's power. Of course, Gensego can use it too. So use it she did, when it counted the most. She tore a hole in the world itself. Tiny hole, there for barely an instant, but enough to escape the inescapable. And now?
天位登れ
Oh,
リバース江ノ島インパクト
oops. I'm burning. It feels like my skin is on fire. Worse, I can hardly breathe. What happened? Where am I? Is this hell? No, I think this is outer space. Darkness, black and heavy, surrounds me. Perhaps this truly is hell. Then what are those? The darkness is wounded, bleeding from a million points of light. Not hell, then. Where?
ミド、
村正か。
My voice catches in my throat. I cannot speak, but my thoughts make it through.
で、体はどう？応急の処置はしてみたけど。
Have you, like, fused all the gaps in the armor so that way we're in a properly, like, sealed, like, tin can, essentially? Keeping all the oxygen in?
痛むが全く動かせないほどではない。
Test my body for damage. Everything seems connected. At the same time, everything hurts. That's probably the solar radiation cooking you like a fucking burrito right now. The pain is worse near the center of my chest. Cracked sternum, most likely.
蹴りを受ける直前に磁気の壁を張ったんだけど、それでも防ぎきれなかった。
Well, better than her foot punching straight out your back, so good job.
そうか。
Still, it's thanks to her barrier that I remain in one piece. That kick could easily have scattered my atoms to the wind.
それでね、ミド。
ん？
蹴りと磁気反発、あと直前の空間歪曲も変な感じに作用して、なんか結構遠くまで飛ばされてみたいなのよね。
So how far in space are we?
どのあたりだ？
Is it red?
あれを見てくれる？
あれ？
I turn my head.
私たちの世界があんな風に見えるあたり。
Oh. A little far?
宇宙かよ。
これってさりげなく
Hey, first man in
人類
space.
史上の偉大な一歩だったりするんじゃないかし
Nah,
ら。
you gotta get to the moon for that. Yes, that'd be wonderful if we had achieved it ourselves. Not sure how I'm supposed to feel when I got up here by way of a kick. Earth is so blue and so far away.
あの方向へ落ちていかない。ということはつまり、
Very
俺は
fast.
地球の引力
Real
圏外へ
fucking
脱出したの
fast.
か。
完全に脱出したわけでもないみたいよ。まだ少し地球からの新規を感じるもの。
So we're in orbit. Even then, our velocity must have been phenomenal. Ah, so that's why I feel burnt. Atmospheric friction would have done the trick. But that still leaves the question of how I survived the trip. Even accounting for Muramasa's barrier and the natural strength of her armor, I find it difficult to fathom. Perhaps Kotetsu's power played a role.
しかし、宇宙を真
Yeah.
空、ないし、真
You
空
should
に
be
近
like,
いはずだ。
Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total
なぜ
Recall
俺
right
は
now.
窒息せずにいられる？
Fucking eyeballs popping out, tongue going, blah!
合ったりの熱量変換を応用して酸素を作って供給してるの。
Oh,
空の果てには空気がないなんて知らなかったから、ちょっと慌てたけど。
なるほど。
I may not be able to talk, but at least I don't have to worry about drowning a few A few 100,000 kilometers from the nearest body of water.
ただ、あまり長くは続かないから、承知しておいて。
Yeah, that seems kind of rough to do.
力尽きる前に大気圏内へ帰還する方策を考えろというわけだな。
Does your Guitari work? Like, I know it's a jet engine and, you know, it's you need oxygen to fucking, you know, create thrust. You need air. It sucks in the air, you know. Sucks, what is it? Suck, squeeze, bang, push is how jet engines work. Yeah. Suck, squeeze, bang, blow. That's what it is. Suck, squeeze, bang, blow, just like your fucking mom. But that's essentially how jet engines, you know, provide propulsion. They suck in the air, they compress it, then they ignite it with their fuel, and then it gets blown out the back as propulsion. We have no air, which means we can't suck, which means there's nothing to compress, which means there's nothing to go bang with, which means there's no blow.
ええ。いえ、その前に一悶着ありそう。
So, can Seigo followed us here? Defeating her comes first. At last.
こうなればあえて帰還の手立てを考える
I mean, you
必
also
要
have
もない
gravity control. You can just, you know, pull yourself back to the earth, yeah?
そうね。
That silver comet is our enemy. Nothing else matters.
まだまだ検証そうだな、影明。地球を回る物言わぬ赤い衛星にしてやるなんだとは
Wow,
残念
rude.
無念。
Nice seeing you too. Jeez.
それはあいにくだったな。
しからば稀有な体験を楽しめよう。展開の居心地はどんなものだ。お前はそこで何を思う。青い故郷を見て帰りたいと思うか。それとも
You can go fucking flying off the stars if you want. Fucking leave us out
で
of
も
it.
旅してみたいと思うか。
どちらも違うな。ここ
いえ。
Kill you.
生後もはやお前を地上へ返したくはない。
Before you can return to wreak havoc on the world.
よくぞ言ったり。ならば影明、力ずくで光をとどめてみせよ。
Blazing with incandescent fury, the Silver Star approaches. Unstoppable speed, irresistible power. This time, surely, her wrath will destroy me. I have no means of defense, no means to strike back. Even when we fought on equal footing, in the end, her might surpassed mine. Now the advantage is entirely Kinseigo's. The damage from her last attack has greatly sapped my strength, while Kinseigo remains untouched, pristine. What hope have I to overcome? Is there a miracle, a deus ex machina, waiting just off the stage? No, I have nothing. Nothing. Save that. I was wrong. One hope remains. Not a miracle by any means, and yet a path to victory. Before I departed Futaraku, the last egg showed me the truth. For Minato Kageaki to slay his sister, there's only one thing he must do first. It was always there at the back of my mind, but I lacked the conviction. It's not too late. There's still time, only if I take the plunge. So take it I must. There was never a choice.
村正
待って。交戦圏に入るまでの時間で、なんとか回復を進め、うまくいけば、いくらかマシな状態に。
Unalive me.
それはいい。そんなことをしても勝てはしない。勝つための手は一つだ。
Or, you know, willingly submit myself to the brainwashing. My skin tingles, sensing the approaching raw bloodlust. And Seigo will be upon us soon.
村正今すぐに俺を精神汚染しろ。
Take the wheel.
精神支配だ。お前の精神で俺の精神を潰し、どうかして取り込め。いつか拘置所でやろうとしたようにだ。野立ちを再生させた時のことを思い出せ。あれが答えだ。
As long as the man Minato Kageaki is in my head, I can't do it. In order to kill Hikaru, first I must die.
俺がいる限り銀星号には
Yeah, you can just
光に
piece
は
back
勝て
together
ない
my psyche after this is all done, you know?
どうしようとも
そんなこと。
いや事実だ
Yeah.
さっきもそうだった確実に切れるはずだったあの瞬間俺の意識に光の面影がよぎった
Too weak.
俺自身がだから俺を殺せ俺の意志を
Yeah,
潰
she
せ
has advantage on me like this. This can't go on.
無理よ。人の心をなくしてしまったら戦いようがないもの。
普通の武者ならそうなるだが村正
Yep.
お前は使命あって生まれた剣その使命は俺の使命と今や同一のもの俺の心が消えようとお前戦える
でも私は
村正
私はあなたの意志を守りたくて。
Look, you're thinking too hard about it.
急げ
できない。だって私。
忘れるな村正
Uh-huh.
俺たちは
It's his just
屍を
desserts.
踏んで歩いてきた
You know, divine retribution,
こ
so
こ
to
に至
say.
るため幾多の命を踏み砕いた俺を王戦から救い出してくれたあの時お前自身が俺に言ったことだ他人に支払わせてきた犠牲その全てを無駄とするか否か今が瀬戸際だ迷う必要はない
井戸。
Yeah, you know, it's the end. What's one heroic sacrifice, you know?
これは俺の責務だこれはお前の責務だ村正俺の意志を奪え
The power burns through me, a white-hot flame, forging my soul into something new. Instead of soft flesh and warm blood, my heart becomes a core of black steel, harder, stronger, unbreakable, unbending. This is what I needed, my true path to forsaking the self. This power will purge me of weakness, leaving the one righteous purpose to drive me. Thus, through this ritual of self-annihilation, Minato Kageaki will become that from which he was always furthest removed. Witness the birth of a hero. But that, ladies and gentlemen, will have to wait until next time. I know, what a spicy cliffhanger to leave things off of. But man, this is a lot of talking, and like I said, I'm not fully up to snuff. So that's where I'm gonna call it. Really, I'll leave you hanging on the hook for the next one, huh? But yeah, with that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. See you guys on next time for the next episode of Full Metal Demon Muramasa. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, even though I just said that. So that way, whenever I decide to stream, I don't know, whatever bullshit I'm doing, like tomorrow, you're able to swing by, or today, whenever you're watching this. It'll be tomorrow for me, but for today for you. I don't know, just hit that bell so you know when I go live, huh? All right, bye. I'm done. Bye. Mwah. See you later.